This is Sportscentre.
Hey, we're so Roberto on the Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And Leafs fans, how are we feeling ahead of Game 2? Toronto has not led a second round series in 23 years and has a chance to really put their foot down tonight. So let's bring in our very own Mark Masters. Mark, how's it going?
Just pumped for round 2 hockey, Marissa.
So the big question heading into Game 2 is, of course, about goaltender Anthony Stolarz. What is the latest on that situation heading into tonight?
Well, Anthony Stolarz not on the ice this morning. He's not going to play tonight. There's no timeline for his return from the team. Craig Berube only saying he's recovering. Players say that he's looking good, at least in good spirits behind the scenes, so that's at least good to hear. But based on how he left Game 1, you got to think he's going to miss some time. So Joseph Woll gets the start tonight, his first start since April 17th, the regular season finale, and it will be Matt Murray dressing as the backup. They like his experience as a two-time Stanley Cup champion.
Now, Craig Berube has stressed discipline all throughout the playoffs. But do you think there's urgency in matching Florida's level of physicality moving forward?
Well, the Panthers had the edge in hits in Game 1, 51-24, but the Leafs liked their physicality. They feel like they matched Florida in that category, and they stayed away from any of the antics, or as Matthew Nice put it, the crap after the whistles. They really liked their game. They want to start tonight just the same as they started Game 1. The Panthers, of course, looking to make some adjustments and get a boost of energy from the return of defenseman Aaron Ekblad, who's back from suspension here tonight.
Thanks, Mark. I know Leafs Nation is ready for this one, including you, buddy. I know you get excited about these.
Well, Marissa, the fans ready to bring the energy here tonight, like we always do.
I love this guy. We love this guy. The Jets are back in action tonight as they're hosting Stars in Game 1 of the second round. And while Winnipeg beat the Blues, it's hard to say things went completely their way. But by far, the biggest talking point for Winnipeg has been between the pipes. Against St. Louis, Connor Hellebuyck had a series to forget, and he hardly looked at the Vezina favorite we saw all season. So with all that considered, it's not surprising that coming into tonight's game, FanDuel has the Jets as underdogs against the Stars. But if Helly can bounce back, things could swing in Winnipeg's favor. And lucky for Jets fans, there are a lot of signs suggesting that might happen. For one, Hellebuyck has been pretty solid in the second round in his career. And while the Jets have split their 2 second-round series with him on the roster, his stats are noticeably better in round 2 compared to other playoff games. Also, he has a pretty solid track record against the Stars, and this year in particular was lights out against them. If that continues against Dallas, the Jets should have a good shot of moving forward to the conference finals. But for now, we'll just wait to see how this series starts out in Winnipeg tonight. We get a double dip of postseason action tonight in the 6th. That's because the PWHL Playoffs get underway at Coca-Cola Coliseum, with the Toronto Scepters hosting the Minnesota Frost. So let's bring in our girl, Julia Teixeira, to break things down. What's up, Regina?
Good. I miss you guys. I'm pumped to be on. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is a rematch of last year's opening round, when Minnesota rallied to stun Toronto en route to winning the inaugural Walter Cup. Is that in itself enough to get you hyped up for this series?
Oh yeah, you could feel it off the Toronto girls too. This is definitely a rivalry that's building in the PWHL, especially like you mentioned, last season, Toronto was really expected to win. And when they went up 2-0, it was kind of like a foregone conclusion that Toronto might even sweep the Minnesota Frost. Like no one thought that the Frost were going to come all the way back and eventually win the Walter Cup. But that's what happened. Of course, Natalie Spooner went down in that series last year. Toronto's 5-on-5 and scoring just in general dried up for them after that. So Toronto's going to come out with something to prove this season.
And tomorrow it's Montreal and Ottawa. The great Marie-Philippe Poulin takes aim at her first Walter Cup. What excites you about that matchup?
I'm excited about everything. Like it's an all-Canadian matchup. It's the first time that we've had that in the PWHL postseason. I've also talked to some really diehard PWHL fans that have season tickets in Ottawa and in Montreal. So I think there's going to be a lot of crossover between the buildings. Like I think that there's going to be a lot of Ottawa fans in Montreal. I think there's going to be a lot of Montreal fans in Ottawa. I'm excited to see how Pooh plays because it does feel like it's her year right now, doesn't it? Like Boston was kind of that obstacle that was in the way of Montreal scoring goals. Aaron Frankel particularly, who just shut the door in the semifinals last year. Poulin didn't win this year at the World Championship. We know that. She looked extremely angry. She's had kind of that mad face on all year, Marissa, which just generally scares me about MPP. Like it tells me she's going to go beast mode in the playoffs.
Kujina, feels good to be back at this with you again, Thanks for this.
Oh, I love you guys. See you soon.
That's it for me today. We'll see you back in around 3 Eastern New Pacific. Have a good one.